Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. One thing that we thought was a possibility. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Something that we said in the last two videos that was a possibility happened here in After Hours. Yes, the seemingly impossible actually happened. The judge has now officially denied lifting the status quo order to allow AMC to do this reverse split, at least until April 27th. And we're going to get into the document here because I think the verbiage is very important that you guys hear, because it highlights the judge don't think this is appropriate, nor would it be fair for the class, right? The common stockholders, which by and large is you and me. So we're going to get into the actual document here. Don't worry about that. But a lot of people are starting to ask is, why is this bullish? Why is AMC stock rallying almost 7% upon this news here in After Hours? And what effects can this and will this have on AMC stock? All of that and much more we're going to get into here in this video. So hit that like button. Number one, subscribe to the channel. Number two, and number three, source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. And if you guys want to come trade with me live in real time, link down below in the description of this video. We got this news fast today, and I'm not going to take credit for it because I didn't get it first. It's Ryman over here on the trading community, in the trading group, the private trading group, like I said, down below in the description of this video. He got this pretty much instantly. Now, let's get into the first thing that is said here, and I already have the documents blown up for you. Well, I don't have this one blown up for you guys, so we're going to do that. And I think this is very nice because it basically blows it up really big so you guys can read it. Now, this says, let's make sure we are on the first one as well. We'll go ahead and blow this one up because not all of this, you don't have to read every single thing. You can if you'd like to, and by all means, I recommend you guys do. I'm just going to highlight what's important and what really matters here, and that's going to be the first page. Dear counsel, I write to resolve the plaintiff's unopposed motion to lift the status quo order due to the parties' proposed settlement. The motion, for the reasons that follow. The motion is denied. On February 27, 2023, the then parties to the two actions constituting this consolidated matter stipulated to expedited proceedings and a status quo order by which the defendants agreed not to amend AMC Entertainment's citations in the form, blah, blah, blah. Goes on to talk about how they want to convert AMC or APE into AMC common stock, and then it says AMC's pre-conversion common stockholders would receive one additional share of common stock for every 7.5 shares of common stock held as of issuance, and that would be on what was that, March 31st, right? So basically going over the same things that we already know about. Now, it says, once a status quo order is in place, the party seeking modification or vacatur bears the burden of showing why it should be modified or vacated. Generally, a status quo order binds the parties until this court enters a final judgment in the matter or specifically orders otherwise upon good cause shown. As with the decision to enter a status quo order, the decision to order otherwise is, quote, within the discretion of the trial judge. The parties seek to lift the status quo order to allow the defendants to complete their settlement obligations before the settlement is noticed, considered, and approved. This court has cautioned against parties performing even partial settlement obligations before a settlement hearing, as doing so prevents the court from meeting its obligation to oversee class action settlements. It is well settled that the Court of Chancery's role in approving class action settlements under Court of Chancery Rule 23 is, quote, intended to balance policies favoring settlement with concerns for due process, and arises from the fiduciary nature of representative actions, particularly the need to assure that the interest of absent class members or stockholders have been fairly represented, and the necessity of guarding against the ever-present potential for surreptitious buyouts of representative plaintiffs at the expense of whom they purport to represent. Now, let me break that down in English for you guys. Let's give you the 101 version of this. The court wants to hear out and understand in a better light what AMC is trying to do, what the settlement is, and if it is fair for all stockholders, meaning that maybe the plaintiffs in this case, Allegheny County Pension Fund, thinks this is, okay, right? But do we think this is okay? Is this really an equitable solution for all parties involved? And that's where it's interesting, because even on the side of, is this fair to AMC? In theory, right? AMC could, in theory, make a terrible deal and, reward shareholders in theory, right? Too much, it wouldn't be fair for AMC as well. In this case, it looks like the judge is saying, hey, this might not be fair for common stockholders. So this is somewhat normal, even though not as much, because typically things can be more, cut clean. This is one of those situations that is not so clean cut. When you gotta give out free shares and try to get approval and drop a court case by giving out free shares, very atypical. So this makes sense why the courts want to review these documents and make sure that everything does make sense. Now, page 5 of 6. The first paragraph I think is very important, and I specifically want to highlight this for you guys. It says, the parties offer no good cause to lift the status quo order. The plaintiffs assert the status quo order must be lifted only to permit performance of the settlement agreement, which would allow the punitive class members to receive the settlement consideration more quickly and remove significant uncertainty weighing on AMC. That is true in every class action or derivative settlement, and yet we pause to follow rules 23 and 23.1 in the absence of any demonstrated need to reorder the established and purposeful order of operations. I must conclude that harm to the punitive class suffered by foregoing Rule 23 required protections of proper notice, opportunity to object, and approval exceeds the benefit of receiving the common stock sooner. So basically, what they're saying here is, we're not going to let you go ahead and do this because we can't go back on it. That's the bottom line. If it's cut and dry, they would have said, yeah, do this. But there's a chance that the court could do wrong here by letting this go through, letting us receive our shares, letting AMC do this reverse split, and come to find out it's not an equitable solution for all. They didn't take their due process seriously, and that would go against the Court of Chancery. So I do think, number one, the judge and the courts really don't think this is a fair and equitable solution for all. It'll be interesting to see if there's some form of vote, if this is fair, or how this is ultimately going to play out. But I imagine, based off the verbiage you're hearing here, that it's not going to be just the plaintiffs, Allegheny County Pension Fund, and the other small firms that sued AMC that are going to have a say on if this settlement is equitable for all or not. So I do think that is interesting. I do think it's going to make things very interesting over the next couple of days, next couple of weeks, heading into April 27th. Now, that's the boring stuff. That is out of the way. Let me just break it all down and summarize it for you guys. It's very simple. Don't get lost in the sauce here. Number one, the judge does not know if this is an equitable solution for all AMC shareholders. And what I mean by that is, if the plaintiffs here, the people suing AMC, thought that there was good enough reason to take your chances in court to see this potentially not happen and to spend hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to do that, well, they're probably not the only ones that feel wronged by what AMC is trying to do. So the due process here would be making sure that this payout, settlement, whatever you want to call it, is an okay solution for all AMC shareholders. Because once it enters a courtroom, the Chancery Court specifically, well, the judge has an obligation to make sure that it's a good solution for all. Maybe Allegheny County Pension Fund thinks it's a good solution for them or for, the other plaintiffs in the case. But is it a good solution for you? Who knows? The judge needs to make that decision. That's ultimately what this comes down to. But this status quo order was essentially asking the courts to let AMC go ahead, pay out the common stock settlement, and to do the reverse split to raise capital, and then get this formally dismissed in court on April 27th. That is what this status quo was all about. You still had to go to court April 27th, but at that point, it was cut and dry. There's no going back from doing the settlement, the reverse split. You can't just undo those kind of things, right? So it essentially would have been over at that point. That's why AMC stock dropped 23% yesterday, because it was essentially seemingly a done deal already. Well, now it doesn't look so. Now it looks like at least April 27th, the courts are going to want to know, what's going on. Is this a good solution for all AMC shareholders? And that's the bottom line. So that's really what this is about. Now, this document did come out at about 7:30. So it was pretty late. It was almost over in extended trading hours. Very low liquidity overall. So I do think you're going to see a continuation of this tomorrow morning and throughout the trading day tomorrow. And I do think it's probably going to cause a pretty big bullish reaction, because anything that throws uncertainty and doubt is going to lead to fear within the hedge funds, because hedge funds are overly short in AMC where they otherwise would not be if this arbitrage trade was never a thing. So you have a seriously high degree of short interest, people that are shorting AMC going long on APE to play that spread essentially. And now the judge is saying, yeah, maybe this solution doesn't work for all common stock investors. And I think that's very logical. And that's why I pointed that out I don't think it was the last video. It was the video before that. It was the video put out today, the intraday update, I believe. Kind of going over that, sharing some of those concerns that I had as well. And I don't know if you call them concerns or not, because really I don't care which way this goes. I have that much confidence in this trade. Either AMC raises capital, boom, that's positive. Or the judge denies this and does not let it happen, boom, that's positive for a squeeze as well. But we called this out in that video, that maybe the judge says this is not a fair solution for all. And that's basically what he's saying here. At the very least, he's saying we need more information. We need more opinions on this. And it wouldn't surprise me even to get a vote, a AMC shareholder vote on this. Is this settlement okay? Right? And obviously that vote would probably not go so well for AMC. So that's really, long story short, what is happening here today. Now, I do think this can give you, like I said, a continued bullish reaction, as it does throw cold water on this red hot trade that hedge funds have been participating in. And if we do go ahead and take a look at the Ortex data and get into the short interest numbers as well as the cost to borrow numbers for you guys, just here briefly to go ahead and wrap up this video. AMC stock did close, including regular trading and after hours trading, up by about 9%, about 10% here. So it was a very strong day. You really can't complain with that all too much. Now, short interest of free float is sitting at 25.12%. 130 million shares currently sold short. Cost to borrow average at about 600%. Cost to borrow max at about 1,050%. And cost to borrow minimum, last real update we got was about 269%. Interactive Brokers hasn't given us an update in quite a while. Option activity for the day today, extremely negative, guys. So even on the front of options, it's been so negative. Get this, over the past week, you have seen 519 orders totaling $164 million, positive order value of 6%. That's extremely negative. That is very, very negative on AMC. Like, you will not see this, or you would not have seen this if this arbitrage trade was not a thing, if shorting AMC was the new hottest trade on Wall Street, and it shows. So you do have a lot of short interest. At the same time, you got a lot of people playing directionally bearish put positions, and all of that could, make AMC rally, especially as the settlement has now got rejected. And that's what it says right here in this headline. It says AMC stock pops, 8 tumbles as court rejects share conversion settlement. And basically what we just said, late Monday, AMC Entertainment in its SEC filing disclosed a binding settlement with plaintiffs in the shareholder lawsuit regarding the movie theater chain stock conversion plan. Plaintiffs would get common shares, and Vice Chancellor Morgan Zern ruled against that Wednesday, saying AMC Entertainment is moving too fast. So yeah, that's what we got. Now, I did want to show you guys this as well. If we go ahead, the free flow out on loan as well is sitting at like 38%. It's actually very, very high relative to where it usually sits with AMC, and I'm not exactly sure how to get back to that. I believe I just retype it in. Let's see. Oh, maybe it's the overview. Yeah, free flow out on loan sitting at almost 39%. Days to cover 7 days ago was 5.66%. You do have about $506.5 million worth of short positions currently on AMC stock and 100% share utilization. So any one of these data points you look at are bullish for a short squeeze. And especially now, I think you could start to get a little mixed squeezy pretty quickly. Ultimately, I don't expect too much of a rally until April 27th at the very minimum, until we hear from the courts, and I doubt this story is over coming April 27th, guys. So that is going to do it. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. And if you guys want to get the fastest AMC news out there every time a major event happens, and you guys want to stay up to date with everything that I am doing, all of the trades that I am making, as well as other trades members are making, link down below in the description of this video for the trading community. Thank you for watching again, and I will see you in the next one.